guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is Agatha, and we are going to do another video today that's related to immigration. But before we do that, please, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please click on the subscribe button down below so that you will be notified of my future videos and you'll be the first one to be able to watch them. Also, please make sure to like this video. Check out my other videos, comment down if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just want to connect with me. And also, please share so that we may reach others as well in the same situation. Thank you guys. And moving on, without further ado, when applying for a visa in Canada, either a student permit, a visitor visa, or a work permit, it's not easy to get approved. There are things that you have to prove to the visa officer for them to be satisfied that you will be coming to Canada and you'll be doing what what you have applied for. For example, as a student permit, right? You come here to Canada as a student. So we all know that most of us, we have the intention of studying, but at the same time, we also have the intention of migrating here to Canada. We are doing the study program as a stepping stone for us to be able to apply for permanent residency after our studies, after we've gained the Canadian work experience. But of course, at the first stage, when you are applying for a study permit, you have to be able to convince the officer that you're going to come here to Canada only as a student. Dual intent meaning that you also tell the visa officer that you want to migrate here and you want to study, but it's very hard. It's very tricky to do that. So it is advised that you just pursue with a study permit first. So you have to just stick with being a student for the meantime. Finish your studies, and once that pathway opens up for you to be able to apply for permanent residency, then just take it one step at a time. But when you apply for a student permit, you have to be able to convince the visa officer that you'll only be a student. Of course, with the exemptions of being able to work for that period. But after your studies, you have to give the impression to the officer that you will be coming right back home from your country to your country of residence, and you will be continuing your plans in your home country, right? So there's a lot of documents that you have to submit to be able to satisfy that. Now let's take a look at some of the rejection reasons that may be given by the visa officer. I have seen a lot of these refusal reasons because, just to share, I'm not proud of this. I'm somehow proud of this because we have received, me and my family have applied 18 times, I think. Yes, an average of estimate of 15 times before we were able to get all of our approvals. So we tried everything. We tried visitor visa, we tried student permit or work permit for my husband. Yes, so 18 times that we applied, so that's around, I don't know, yeah, so 18 times. I'm not sure if that was the number of times we were refused, but yes. For my husband alone, we applied for his work permit. I think he was approved for the 5th application. And then for my youngest daughter on a student permit, she was able to get her approval on the 3rd try. For my son, 2nd try, I think, 2nd for the student permit, and then I applied him for the visitor visa as well. So it's really complicated. It's not as easy as it may seem. So this is the reason why sometimes people would hire a consultant or an agency to be able to help them make sure that their application is correct, is complete, and there are no loopholes that the officer may see that would make them decide that you're not a genuine student, we're not gonna approve you have a visa, try again. So I'm looking into the refusal letters that we've had. Okay, so just the common ones, okay? And we can let's start with the work permit. So for work permit, usually this is for the open work permit, so where the spouses of the student permit applicant tries to apply as well. So if you remember, if you are a student here in Canada, you can also bring your family. So your spouse can also apply for an open work permit, but that's not automatic. It doesn't mean that if you are approved of a student permit, then your husband will automatically be given the permit. So your husband has to satisfy the visa officer that your husband will not be coming here to Canada, and then after the permit expires, the worker will be staying here TNT, that's gonna do anything other than working, right? So you have the applicant still must satisfy that he is supporting the wife, and once the wife's study permit expires or graduates, then both of you will be coming home to your country of residence. Okay, now for work permit, you have not satisfied me that you would leave Canada by the end of the period authorized for your stay. So there are several factors why a visa officer may not be satisfied that you will be leaving Canada after your period of authorized stay. So we have travel history. So some are being refused due to travel history. Now, if you don't have a travel history, there are chances, for example, this will be your first time applying for a visa, or this is the first time that you will be traveling to another country, even with a non-visa country. It might give the idea to the visa officer that you will be staying there because you are not a frequent flyer, or it's not, you have not demonstrated that history that you went into another country and then after your period of authorized stay, you came back. So travel history is a big asset. So other applicants would, before trying to apply for a visa, they would go to non-visa countries first, or the easy ones. So ASEAN countries, I believe, Hong Kong, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then for visa countries, that's easy to apply. I think Japan, South Korea. So yeah, if you want to tick this off, then you may want to travel to other countries first, just to demonstrate that you have never broken an immigration law. You were not on an extended stay. You went back to the country before your visa expired. So that is one way to prove to not be refused due to travel history. But of course, there are instances why a person would not have a travel history, but it would be fine for the visa officer. So you can just explain to them why you have not been able to go to other countries. So you can let them know some situations may be that you are very busy with work, you have studies as well, you have a family, so you just don't have the liberty of time to be able to go to other countries, or for work, you're not, your vacation leave is not sufficient to be able to travel to other countries. Or you can let them know as well that you love your country, so whenever you have vacation leaves, you use it up to travel different parts of your country, different provinces. Yeah, so those are some tips as well. And yeah, and also another one would be, it's because you were preparing, you did not want to go to other countries because you were saving up funds for this specific, for buying a house or buying a car. So or maybe you're just not a fan of, you're not just a fan of traveling to different places. So it doesn't mean that if you don't have a travel history, you're going to be automatically refused due to this factor. No, it's definitely on how you explain it to the officer, and as long as it makes sense why you don't have a travel history yet. Next is immigration status in country of residence. So I've seen a lot of rejections for this factor. This is usually for overseas foreign workers. So it's recommended that you apply on let's say if you are a Filipino working overseas in Singapore. So there have been a couple of rejections. If you pass your papers in Singapore, there might be a little bit of issue with your country of residence and your immigration status. So sometimes the recommendations that I've researched would be to apply on your home country. So if you are a Filipino, then apply in the Philippines. Send your visa over to the VFS in Manila. Or when you do the online application, use your country of residence as your home country. If you are a Filipino, even if you are in Singapore, then you can put the country of residence as your home country, Philippines. So yes, there are lots of this one. Specifically, please go to Study Permit Canada, Study Permit Canada DIY. I will post the link to the Facebook page. It's a very informative page where you can see a lot of help and advice on the rejections, where people share about their refusal and what they did to be able to get approved the next time. So yeah, it's definitely going to help. Family ties in Canada and in country of residence. So this is another factor for refusal. Okay, so for family ties in Canada and in country of residence, we're going to look into both sides of them. So you may be refused, for example, if you don't have any more family ties in your country of residence. So for example, Philippines. Now, if you will be applying for a visa with, let's say, you apply with your spouse, your wife, your children, and you're applying all at the same time, there's no more family, and you don't have a brother or a sister or a family member in the Philippines that's going to be left, then it may seem to the visa officer that you won't have any reason to come back to Philippines anymore, because there's no family left behind. So there may be chances that they might think that you will be migrating to Canada for good. So some people would do what some people would do is they apply for the principal applicant would apply first. So in this way, there's lesser chances of being rejected because you will be leaving your spouse, your child, or yeah, as simple as that. So the visa officer will think that okay, I'm sure this person will come back because his or her family is still in the Philippines. They definitely have a reason to come back, to reunite with the family. So those are some examples. And then family ties here in Canada. Let's say that your mother and father is here. You have an auntie here. You have brothers and sisters over here. So the visa officer might think it goes both ways. It can be an advantage, it can be a disadvantage, because they might think that since you already have your family here with you, then your family, once you're here, will be able to help you out, not go back to the country anymore. So there might be a time, the reason they might think that the reason that you are applying to come here is to be with your family here in Canada permanently. So those are some views that the visa officer may think. Now, you would have to really explain why you'll be coming home to the Philippines. There. Okay. Length of proposed stay in Canada. Of course, for a study permit, then your length of stay would be the duration of your studies. For the open work permit, it will also be the duration of your spouse's study permit. Yeah. There. Okay. For visit visa, length of proposed stay in Canada, make it as short as you can, because the longer that you make the duration of stay, the higher the funds that the visa officer is gonna acquire. The visa officer is gonna look for more funds, because then you would have to sustain more, right? Okay, so you have to take that into consideration as well. That is for a visit visa. Purpose of visit, of course, you have to explain very well what is your intention. Your studies, if you are in a study permit, you have to explain why. For work permit, it's the same purpose of visit. A lot of rejections are here in the purpose of visit. So you have to clearly explain why you want to come here to Canada. Why Canada? Why do you want to study here in Canada? Because there are other places that offer great education. We have Australia, New Zealand, USA. So compare, differentiate what makes Canada a better place to study than the rest, right? Financial wise, cost wise, environment wise. So let them know, make it clear to them. You have to emphasize. And it doesn't, it's not always that your explanation should be long. It should just be clear, concise, and direct to the point. and makes sense, of course. All right, employment prospects in country of residence. Now, this is a more related to being a study permit holder. So employment prospects in country of residence. Now, if you are taking this course, the visa officer might think, is it making sense that you have taken this program? Because, you know, anybody who wants to come here to Canada can just take up any program, right, that they may be eligible for. Now, it doesn't work that way. You cannot just choose a program just for the sake of having a program to study, because studying isn't really your goal, right? Your goal is to become a permanent residency here. Now, you have to make sure that the program you are applying for is related to either your old course or your working experience, okay? Now, this relates to employment prospects in country of residence. Is when you come here to Canada, when you come back, will there still be employers that will accept you? Are there a lot of opportunities when you come back? Because it may be that, you know, when you come to Canada and when you come back to your country of residence, there's no more waiting for you. So it really doesn't make any sense if you take this program. So you have to make sure that the program that you are taking for will either be an upgrade or it will do something to better your career. So it can be, you know, you can let them know that if you have this educational experience, educational credential from a foreign country, it's going to help you out with your promotion in the Philippines. Or your employer would hire you for a management position if you have taken this course overseas. So anything like that. So you have to make sure that there are enough employment opportunities if you take up this course, or if you do this work in Canada. Once you come back, there are a lot of opportunities available for you. That's why it makes sense for you to take this course. Okay. Current employment situation. So current employment situation, most of the applicants that I do see that get this rejection are those that are not employed during the time of the application, or those who are employed but have just started. So they want to see your employment situation. So we recommend that you do not resign from your current job yet. It's better to apply for a visa when you are employed. And the longer your stay with the company is, that's more of an advantage for the visa officer, because they would see that you are connected with the company. Some tips that I can give: you can get like a leave of absence from them. You can get a paper from them that that states that this company is giving you 1 year leave of absence to take up a school program or to go work foreign overseas. And then that once you return to Canada, you will still be employed with that company. And also, or rehire papers or job offer letters from companies in the Philippines, that when you come back and gain that educational experience or that work experience in Canada, then they will rehire you back or offer you a job when you come back. So those are some tips that I can give you that we did with my husband's application as well. Personal assets and financial status is very important. This just gives the visa officer another idea that you will be coming back home to your country of residence. If you have properties like house and lot, car, a business that you manage, stocks, financial status, you know, so you can be an owner of a company, a shareholder. You can use that, because if they know that you have assets that you left in the Philippines or properties that you left back in the Philippines, then at some point you would have to come back for them, because that's yours, right? Okay, any history of having contravened the conditions of admission on a previous stay in Canada. So they will look into your previous visa if you have refusals from other countries, or if you've been here to Canada and then you stayed longer than what you were allowed to. So that's going to make a whole lot of impression to the visa officer. If you have any of those instances, then that will be a disadvantage, because it seems like you're not following the rules. Okay. Another very important one is authenticity of your documents. So there is a rejection bullet here. You have not, your submitted documentation lacks authenticity as part of your application. So this is very important. This has diminished the overall credibility of your submission. So you have to, they will list it down. Specifically, I was not satisfied that the following documentation is authentic. So they may seem that you have submitted a fake document. Okay. It may be that you just have to reapply and submit a clearer copy, an original copy, or a letter of explanation why this document might seem fake. Yes. But this is not you know, you're not banned or anything. This isn't misrepresentation. That's a different refusal. You may also be rejected if you have not complied with their request. For example, a medical examination, an interview, and any other document that they require. If they require any of that, they will either email you, send you a notification, and there will be a time frame as to when you should be able to comply with that. If you are not able to comply within that time frame, then that might be grounds of refusing your application already. Okay, now when you apply and then you get refused, there's no limit of submissions. You know, you can resubmit as long as you have satisfied the previous refusal of the officer. The only difference is that you would have to pay again for the application fee. But for the open work permit fee, they will refund the open work permit holder. Yeah, so just make sure you follow up with the refund process for that. Sometimes it's automatically refunded about 8 weeks, but if you don't get the refund after 8 weeks, then you may do a follow-up. And there's some steps that you can do to initiate the refund process. Okay. And also with, I just want to get back to the financial status. Financial status as well is where if the visa officer would think that your funds is not enough for supporting your stay here in Canada. So keep in mind that if you are a student, then you should have at least, you should show at least 10,000 Canadian dollars. So that's going to be your cost of living for 1 year. Aside from that, you also have to show that you are able to pay your tuition. So if you are going to be applying through a regular stream, then you have to show proof of funds for your cost of studies as well. If you have already paid the tuition, then that's fine. With the SDS, that's why a lot of people go through the SDS or the student direct stream, is that because if you already have the GIC, then financial status would be way a lot easier. You would not need to provide any more bank certificates, you know, bank statements, yes, because you have already proven that you have funds and that's already here in Canada. Now, financial status, it may also be that you have not reached the required number of required funds if you are a family. So keep in mind, it's 10,000 for the principal applicant. For the spouse, the open work permit dependent would be 4,000 additional Canadian dollars, and then for every succeeding dependent, so that means your child, another 3,000 per child. So for a family of 5, in my case, my husband, me 10,000, husband is additional 4,000. 3 kids, so additional 9,000. So in total, 10, 14 plus 9, 23,000 total. So I have to provide at least 23,000. Okay, but doesn't end there. That's the minimum that you should be able to prove that you should be able to provide. So keep in mind that you know, they would still look for how are you going to finance your flights here to Canada. So take that into consideration. Accommodation, transportation, yeah, so take all of that into consideration. That's the minimum. If you can provide more, then that's going to be more helpful to your application. All right, let's take a look at a few more. Okay. And also another rejection is if you are inadmissible to Canada. So, or there are several reasons why you might be inadmissible to Canada. It's more related to criminal history. So if you have any charges or convictions, then that makes you inadmissible to Canada. And also for health conditions. You may be inadmissible to Canada due to a health condition, but we can talk about that in a separate vlog. So just giving you an idea. Not everybody with a health condition is inadmissible, there are certain conditions and situations that. Okay, all right. So I guess this is part 1, guys. There's a lot more refusal reasons. If you have been refused and you would like to know my thoughts on how to correct that or what else you can do before you submit your next application, please let me know, comment down below, and I'll connect with you. So thank you, guys. I'll see you again next vlog. Bye!